Hi there, Sandy here. Welcome to another Friday Findings video at keepsakecrafts.net. Today I'm going to talk to you about a really fun and unique bead that you can use in all kinds of jewelry work to get lots of interesting effects. So what I have here are several tubes of Superduo beads, and I just found these at my local A.C. Moore craft store. And what I love about these is that they come in these tubes with these whole variety mixes of colors. This one's called Victorian Elegance, this one's called Antique Lace, the Autumn Fire. This one happens to be all one color. But what's interesting about these beads is, first of all, their shape. And second of all, the fact that they have two holes. These diamond-shaped beads are the Superduos. You can see that from the side profile, they look like a diamond, but they each have two holes going through them, through the narrow tips. And you can see that better here. You can see the two holes. This means that you can put them together in all sorts of interesting ways, lots of different configurations. I've built a whole Pinterest board just on the different ways that these can be put together. You can see how they're put together like this. When you alternate the holes, they nest together like this, or like in this bracelet. Pretty much the same thing as this, except just a long continuous strip of them. If you put a single end together in a circle, then you get flower designs. Up on the screen are some Pinterest examples that you can do herringbone patterns. I love the snakeskin patterns that you can get with these. You can combine them with tilas, which I've done in the two bracelets I just showed you. And like I showed already, you can get floral effects. Some of my favorites combine all these different effects along with tila beads, which are also two-hole beads. I did a Friday Findings video on those a while ago. Here's another bracelet that I did using the Victorian Elegance mix. And I had half tilas, but you can see another kind of radiating star pattern with the Superduos. They're just a lot of fun because of the way you can fit them together and use them as building blocks for a design. Now these are glass beads. Keep that in mind when you're working with them. It actually makes really nice bracelets. This just has a lovely drape and heft to it because it's all glass. One thing though is they often have coatings. And sometimes the coatings get stuck in the holes, and sometimes the holes will be clogged. So you want to keep an eye out for that, because if you've done a design where you've gone through one hole and then you have to come back through the other hole and you can't get it unclogged, you're going to have to do a lot of unpicking, which isn't fun. So take an awl or a strong needle, and if you see a hole that looks like it's clogged, you can often clear it out with the needle, but if you can't, set it aside and don't use that one in your project. These are pressed glass beads, by the way, which means there's a mold, usually brass, but it can be other things, that the glass is actually pressed into so that all of these have the exact same shape, which is why they fit together so nicely. Another configuration that you can put these in is just to do a partial circle and end up with fans, which is what I did in these earrings. This is a video that's on my channel. Just combining a few of the Superduos and some small seed beads. Patterns abound for these. If you go to the blog post that accompanies this video, you will find links to several free patterns. There's also paid patterns out there. Lots of folks who are really good at designing with these seed beads. And by the way, they are called seed beads just because of their size. They're small like seeds. But there are people who design patterns and they'll sell them on Etsy or other places, PDF patterns for anywhere from $5 to $10. And it's a fair amount of work, so I think it's well worth it to purchase a pattern that a designer's already put all the work into figuring out. What's really cool about these seed beads is that they are designed to coordinate with tila beads, which is another two-hole bead. They're made to work together. So if you look at the holes of a tila and you look at the holes of a Superduo, they line up. And so they're made to work together. I just love the way they coordinate together. You could see it probably best in this bracelet, that the holes all line up and work together These companies make lots of different shaped beads. These are the ones I've discovered so far, and they do make them so that the two-hole beads all work together in systems. So you can have a lot of fun creating and designing and putting them all together. If you're interested in any of these supplies, click on the little eye in the upper right or the link in the description box to go to my blog post, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Take a peek at my Patreon page for how you can get great rewards and help support these tutorials. Happy creating. Bye-bye.